Hey guys, before I give you my review on Sleepaway Camp, yes, this cover and the title and the video you are now in fact watching right now is not an illusion. It's not a mistake. I have in fact already reviewed this movie back in 2022, but I'm not proud of that review. And you're probably wondering why do it now? Why didn't you do it after you had all this equipment? I have been planning this for a while, ever since I got this new computer and all these new techniques. Today is my 1 year anniversary on the YouTube platform. Now, this is kind of like a little history lesson before I joined the YouTube platform. Now, back in 2022, I decided to do movie reviews. But when I was younger, I wanted to do gaming videos because I was a big gaming person. I watched video game creators all the time, but then I got into the movie reviewer platform and all that. And then I thought to myself, hey, doing movie reviews sounds like fun. But my problem was I did not have the equipment that I could do at the time. So I started doing reviews on TikTok. But what my issue was, I got the three strikes you're out rule on TikTok, which is a dumb reason why. Excuse me, is a dumb reason why I got banned, and I will not talk. I won't get into further details here. I got a new email and everything. I have a new TikTok and everything. But after that, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how I was going to do reviews at the time. I was like, sure, I could create a new account, but I didn't want to right away. And so what I did, I decided to join the YouTube platform where I planned a bunch of reviews at the time. Where if you watched my old video, you will see that I only gave negatives. Now, for some reason, when I first did these reviews and I found out about Capwing, but which I used to do my reviews on, which I'll talk about more in a future video, and I only gave negatives. And I thought if I only gave negatives, and everybody who was watching it would know that everything that I gave negatives about they would realize that everything else I didn't talk about means that I liked it. But what my problem was is that I was stupid and I was foolish to even think that, and I do not know why I even thought about that. And it's a funny story, and it's very emotional for me personally because I've come a long way on being the YouTube platform. I've only been on YouTube for 1 year. I've grown to 58 subscribers, which I want to thank all of you for. This me is sure 58 subscribers may not be a big number, but it means a lot to me. And this movie itself, it means a lot to me because this was the first movie that I ever reviewed on my channel. But since I love this movie, I want to give it the review that it deserves. I don't want to do it some like 1 minute video where I had to rush all my thoughts. I do not want to do that. It's to me it's disrespectful to the film creators, and to the cast of this movie. And I want to thank you all for one of the best years of my life, where I never thought I would get this far ever in my YouTube career, where I thought that I would only do YouTube videos by doing shorts, and I hated that, and I did not want to do that. Then I finally got all the equipment that I needed. I've I've grown a lot over the last year, and to celebrate, I've decided to re-review the first video that I ever put up on my channel. With that out of the way, thank you all so much for all the support that you've given me and all the likes and comments that you've given me. I just want to thank every single one of you who have subscribed and watched my videos over the past year that I've been on YouTube, on the YouTube platform. And with that all out of the way, I will finally give you my new thoughts on Sleepaway Camp. Up in my positives on what? Starting off with my positives on Sleepaway Camp, sorry, is the camp setting. Sure, this movie has been in the talks where it's just a Friday the 13th ripoff with a murder mystery and camp setting, but I've always been a sucker for a camp setting. That's why some of the Friday the 13th movies are some of my favorite horror movies. And I just love watching camp movies. For someone who loves going camping, it's just a lot of fun, and I honestly would like to watch this movie when I go out camping. might be a fun experience. I love the camp setting. It utilizes it great. It shows off things that you would probably do at a camp, like at like a summer camp, like that you get sent to. You see like volleyball games, baseball games, capture the flag. You have some fun with your friends, get into fights, and avoid getting molested. It's really like the Ricky and Angela relationship where Ricky and Angela in this movie are both cousins, but sadly Angela's dad and brother were killed in a boating accident. Because if you have in fact watched this movie, excuse me, if you have not, what the fuck are you doing with your time? Where Angela is parent is her father, and her brother were sadly killed in a boating accident because a lifeguard that worked at Camp Arawak, which is the camp that this movie takes place at, where the guy let his girlfriend or something drive, I don't know, and accidentally ran both of them over, and Angela was the only survivor. And so she's been living with her aunt and cousin. And since Ricky knows all about it, he's like always treated her well and always been protective of her, which I really like. Like there's parts in this movie where she'll be getting bullied and then he'll get into a downright fight just to protect her. I love that relationship. It's kind of like a brother and sister thing where the brother is very protective of his little sister, but instead it's the cousin that's very protective of his cousin. I really like that. It's a nice relationship that's throughout the movie, and you can tell throughout the entire movie that they're having a lot of fun filming together and that they're having a lot of fun just in general. Got something going on with my throat. I really like the relationship that they both have. It's a very sweet thing. Like I said, it's kind of like a brother and sister type bond, which it's very sweet. Speaking of Angela, we have to talk about her actress, Felissa Rose. This was Felissa Rose's first acting debut. This was the film debut of Felissa Rose, where at the time she was only 12 years old, which is pretty impressive for a 12-year-old girl someone who doesn't think that child actors do the best job, but they do their best since they're only young, which I get it. I don't think child actors are the best in the world, but for a girl who's only 12 years old working on a 1983 horror movie, it's pretty damn impressive, and she's grown such a great career. This is her most popular movie. Every time someone thinks of Felissa Rose, they'll think of this movie. Well, at the same time, she hasn't been in many projects, but she is a very good actress in other projects that she has in fact worked on. Felissa Rose in this movie is the best part about this movie by far. Her performance is great in this movie. She doesn't have much to do because the Angela character is very shy, quiet because of the accident at the camp that she was at, and she kind of feels unhedged about going to the camp that where her family basically got murdered and all that. Where she's a very shy, quiet person and she does a pretty good job where Felissa Rose makes her feel shy, quiet, upset in a way, and kind of makes her feel mysterious and like thinking like there's something wrong with her, but at the same time, she's just quiet because of what happened. I really like that. She does a really great job in her performance, and it's a shame that the Oscars don't give out Oscars to horror movies because she could have won an Oscar for this movie. But no, they only focus on quality movies. Fuck you, A24. The practical effects are awesome in this movie. The stands out are when the weird chef diddler, where he like basically almost rapes Angela, which is fucked up. They need to run background checks on this camp. Where he's like putting salt into the corn, like boiling it, make sure it's getting ready and all that. And then someone sneaks behind him, pushes him, but he's like dangling over it. He's like telling him to stop it, and he's like, "Hey, if you stop it, I'll give you a Sunday." Eh? No, you're gonna push me in, okay? And he pushes, and he gets pushed down. He accidentally pulls down the boiling water. Key word: boiling water. That's the size of my table, which is not that size, but pretty bigger. And it's just all this boiling water pours on top of him, and his skin is like fucking melted. His skin is bubbling. It's just gross. And then when you finally see his face, his eyes are red since it got into his eyes, and he might be blind now. And his entire face and body is just covered in burns. it's great practical effects, and it's up top of the best practical effects. Another standout is the bee scene, which I will talk about later, where the guy is like taking a dump, as you do, and some guy cuts into the window and drops a bee nest into the bathroom, and all the bees sting him, and then you see like some of the bumps and stings on his arm, and then it shows all the bees just covering up his face. That's another great standout of this movie. The practical effects in this movie are awesome. Another standout in this movie, which is also kind of weird looking when you see this movie in Blu-ray and 4K now, is where Mel gets an arrow through his throat. You can see, oh god, what's going on with my eye? You can see like the little thing that's around his neck that he's wearing to look like it's actually going through, and it doesn't really make a noise though. But the way that they pulled that off in 1983, pretty fucking cool, man. I really like the murder mystery of this movie. I'm a sucker for murder mysteries, not the Adam Sandler movies. Those movies suck. I really like horror movies with murder mysteries. Sure, the mystery of the killer, it's very predictable, but the director does a smart thing, which I will get into depths about, where this movie is like, it sets in a camp, very like Friday the 13th. It has a camp setting, and it has a murder mystery, where the camp setting is where there's a killer and nobody knows who it is. People are just dying and people are just thinking it's simple accidents. But after so many people are realizing there is a killer in this camp. Like the first few, like, yeah, sure, they could be considered accidents, like the boiling water. That could have been an accident. The kid getting flipped over into the boat and, like, apparently drowning to death. That could have been an accident. Like the guy with the bee nest. That could have been an accident. But after a while, people are going, there's a killer in here. There's a killer going on here, but we don't want to mention it to kids so we don't lose our money. We'd rather have kids die. Sure. The killer's reveal, very predictable. I understand that. But it's a murder mystery movie. It should keep you guessing, which it doesn't because you know right away. But it's a murder mystery. I'm a sucker. Now we have to talk about the one thing that this movie is popular for, which is a crime, by the way. The twist ending of this movie is where Angela, played by Felissa Rose, who I talked about, who is the main character of this movie, where she is a female, but in the ending of this movie, she had a boyfriend, which didn't go well. Just watch the movie, you'll understand. There's a part where they're all looking around for some people because they know there's a killer around. They're trying to look around, find people, get them safe and all that. And then they're trying to look for Angela and Peter, where Peter's the boyfriend, by the way, where there's a part at the end of this movie, the very closing ending of this movie, where she is rubbing his head, like he's like, okay, she's like just rubbing his head. But you get like this weird unsettling thing while you're watching it. Like you just like the humming. Like there's something going on here. Like immediately like, oh, she has to be the killer and all that. But it does something different where it shows us a flashback to where after Angela survived the boat accident and it shows her aunt taking her in and talking to her. But then she mentions the name Peter. And you're like, who the fuck is Peter? But then you realize that the girl that we've been watching has never been a girl. The In the opening moments, it shows that there's a kid swimming away from the accident, and then it shows us 8 years later that it's a girl. And you're like, oh, okay, the daughter survived. Because in this movie, there was a daughter and a son. But it's supposed to play off that the daughter survived. But no, the son survived, and the daughter died. And it shows that since the aunt already had Ricky, she didn't want another boy. She forced Peter to be Angela. She forced Peter to become Angela and become a girl, which is very fucked up, by the way. And after that, you just see the kids just look up and you realize this has been a boy this entire time. And then it shows that if she stands up, she's making a weird face. She's holding a knife, and it shows that she is a boy. Dick and everything. I am not lying. They show an actual dick. And then you'll and then the movie just ends with her making like a weird breathing noise and just the boy just standing there. And that's how the movie ends. It like does like this weird color green thing. Is over. Very, very ballsy ending. There's also a bit of a history to that where the person who did the penis stand-in for Angela in this movie apparently was a college student. But the thing was, nobody knew who this guy was, and to this day it's still unknown. Where apparently this man agreed to do it, but apparently he had to get drunk before he did the scene. Which, okay, yeah, we understand. You can probably understand that, but apparently after he got drunk, he started to realize that he couldn't do this. He said that he would have felt uncomfortable doing that, and then apparently what the original plan was for Felissa Rose, who plays Angela, to wear like a like a body that had like a penis and everything on there. But the mother of Felissa Rose would not allow that, so they came with a different plan to hire this college student to wear Felissa Rose's face. So what they did uh, like like some practical effects and did like a model of Felissa Rose's face, and then he had to wear that as he did the body stand. But the thing was, the guy after that, he's like, I don't want to do this. And the fact that, what's that in the fact that he had to stand there just drunk in front of a lot of people, naked, with a little girl's face around him. By all means, we can understand why he would have quit there, right there and then. But he continued to do that, and the man who plays Ricky in this movie, he knows who he is to this day. Like, he talked to him, and he sheltered himself from society after that because no one knows where he lives, no one knows who he is. It's very tragic that a man had to do that for this movie. Very good commitment for him. We thank you for your commitment, by the way. If you see this, I highly doubt you will, though. But it's really messed up when you think about it, and I hope to this day he's okay. Or if he's dead, rest in peace, man. Moving on from that, now we are moving on to my mixed aspects of this movie. Is the goofiness of the movie. Now, when I mean goofiness, yeah, sure, comedy. Comedy works sometimes, sometimes doesn't work. But what I mean by that, too, is some of the line delivery in this movie. Like, some of the, like, Ricky's mother and Peter or Angela's aunt, whatever the fuck you want to say, where she's like, she says such weird fucking dialogue where the second we see her, she goes, Don't want to be late for the bus. Oh, goodness, no, we wouldn't. Like, I should fucking hate her. Like, she's so obnoxious. Like, she does that throughout the entire movie. Like, she's, like, yelling and talking at the same time. Like, okay, we gotta tone down your voice a little bit. And then, like, I should hate this character, but every time I see her, I laugh at this crazy bitch. Like, like, her line delivery, like, no, no, we shouldn't, and all that. Like, I should hate that. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on here? Stop it! You're annoying. This is why no one likes you. This is why your husband left. I'm not joking. She says that in this movie. But I mean, this is a movie that's not really taking itself seriously. It literally has a girl where she is a dude. Now moving on to my negatives. Now, these can be considered nitpicks, but my first negative is the two characters of Meg and Judy. These characters are written to be horrible characters and unlikable characters, but you just can't stand them. Like, they are absolute assholes. Like, they treat Angela like shit because she doesn't talk and she's shy. Like, geez, back the fuck off. Like, come on. Like, they're assholes. And they literally get Angela's boyfriend, Peter, to, like, cheat on her on, like, accident because Judy kind of, like, kind of like reels Peter in a way and gets him to kiss her and all that, and then she lies to Angela saying that Peter said that she was a prude and all that. Like, wow, by the way. But I understand it. They're written to be horrible characters, but there's a part in this movie too where Meg and Judy always have always been interrogating um Angela a lot, and there's a part where they pick her up where she doesn't. At first, she didn't want to go in the water, but then they just pick her up and just throw her in there. Mm. This is 1,150,000,000% a nitpick. The scene where the guy gets stung to death with bees. That's not my issue. There's a part where he's in a stall, a bathroom stall, like ones at school. And Angela blocks the door with the stick, but he's freaking out trying to like open the door. You can climb over or go under or go to the next stall. That's just a fucking suggestion. Or you can just stand there and get stung. I get it. It's a horror movie. Horror movies don't have like logic basically. But come on. Do something here. Oh, guys, I think this is a good movie. I really love this movie. It's one of my favorite horror movies. I feel that since it's a Friday 13th ripoff, I, at some point, do prefer this over Friday 13th. I really love this movie. It utilizes the camp setting way better. The murder mystery to me, sure, it's not as good as Friday 13th and doesn't pull it off as well because it's very predictable, but the ending twist is what really saves it. This is a movie that I absolutely love, and if you have not watched it, it's on Peacock right now, so go ahead and stream it. Wait, not stream it, buy it, Jesus. Stream it on Peacock if you don't want to buy it for some reason, but buy it. It's a good movie. Buy it. What do you guys think of the original Sleepaway Camp? Is this one of your favorite horror movies? For some reason, do you not like this? Which I can understand, actually, goofiness. What do you guys think about this movie in the tell me in the comments below and we will talk about it. And if you like this video, like it. If you loved it, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you will get notified for my latest videos. Thank you all so much for watching. Thanks for a whole year on YouTube. But till my next video, take care.